Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do. Welcome to Friday. This is a live chat for discussing Snodgrass Snodgrass and Haller have left West Ham United officially as of today. But as always, guys, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where you can purchase some very nice retro gear, guys, as you can see from the animation that's up here. Along with Admiral and Umbro, Clout and Blue, track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts, and t-shirts are good. So any purchase you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally get, I will be donating directly to Iron supporting food banks. So guys, dig deep, and of course, let's try and get some money over to a very, very worthwhile cause. Things a little bit dark for some random reason. Let's try to turn the. There we go. That's a bit better. So yeah, as we can talk about, Snodgrass and Haller, as of today, are officially no longer West Ham players. They are I was about to say Ajax then, Ajax and West Brom, respectively. It's a very, very interesting one. This I don't know where to begin with this, guys, if I'm completely honest with you. TSC, welcome. It's party time, except for Snoddy leaving. Chad, hello, mate. Good luck to Haller and Snodgrass for the future. Completely agree. That's where I do need to start with. Obviously, you know, two players that, to be honest with you, have divided the fan base for quite a few years. You know, obviously, when Snodgrass first came in, he was a very an irritating player, shall we say, from Hull. Was deemed to be the replacement for Payet, but wasn't at the end. You know, he was he irritated the hell out of me. Irritated the chairman David Sullivan's. I'm about to say John Sullivan, then David Sullivan's kids, and he got publicly lambasted in the press by the Sullivans, by David Sullivan, for saying his kids didn't want him to sign. He went on loan to Aston Villa. Absolutely smashed it up in the Championship, came back a 100% better player, completely different player, and a beloved player. All right, okay, he didn't exactly work. You know, his work rate was fantastic, but he wasn't exactly, his end product wasn't perfect, with exception of free kicks and corners. But a player that I said keep hold of, and we literally talked about it a week and a half ago, last week's live chat, where I said we need to keep him on as a squad player, and he's now going to West Brom on an 18-month contract. Fee undisclosed. Surprise, surprise. Probably the price of a puck of pie and a pint. we probably have to pay Allardyce directly for, rather than just probably about $500,000, maybe $250,000. But at the same point, from a footballing point of view, 6 months left on his contract, taking 40 grand a week plus his bonuses off the wage bill, which means for the rest of the season, it's a minimum of just over $750,000. Kent, good evening, mate. Oh, sorry, good afternoon, I should say. Sorry, faults of habit. Good afternoon. Kent says, I'm only happy if these player departures, all the respective money is used to bring in new players. We now need 2 strikers. I've always said 2 strikers anyway. And a midfielder. Now squad is very short. Well, midfield, we're overpopulated with a midfield, mate. We said it on Wednesday when Snodgrass's tweet went out. We've got way too many players in midfield. We haven't got enough creative players. That's where you're coming from, mate. But we don't have enough. We don't have enough actual. We've got more than enough midfielders still. Only just, but we've got the likes of Bowen, Antonio, because he's an attacking winger. It was Lanzini, Fornals, Yarmolenko, and 5 actually. So yeah, for a match day squad. It's tinkering there. Chad said we should push Bowen up front now to help out Antonio. Second striker, absolutely. Not as a main striker. Second striker, personally, Chad. But yeah, it's a shame to see Snoddy go. As I say, I liked him on his second stint with us, and he's given us a lot of very good memories. Over the period of time that he's been with us. But that's it. Unfortunately, that's all it is. It's just memories. We don't. He had. Was it 4 minutes this season? And it was like 85 appearances and 11 goals or something like that. I can't remember what it was now, but all in all, but it's a shame nonetheless. It really is a shame nonetheless. Now, Haller was announced this morning. Now, this is the interesting part of the conversation. This is the really, really interesting part of the conversation. Signed for Ajax and a 4.5-year deal worth 22.5 million euros, which means just over 20 million pound. Now, Nicky put a very good tweet out about this yesterday. A little bit tongue-in-cheek and a bit of a stab at WHU, but also at the same point, a bit of a stab at David Sullivan as well, for that matter. And so, this is the thing. We've got, if I remember correctly, we paid £45 million for Haller, and we've sold him for just over 20 million quid. We paid 22 million up front, and Ajax have given us the whole bill in up front, which means that we've still got 2 million quid to pay Frankfurt, if I remember correctly. And this is gonna be the thing, regardless of the fact that Haller was on 121 grand a week, give or take. That's 2.2 million saved per season, which is roughly how much we're gonna have to owe Frankfurt to pay off the debt. In total, between now and the end of the season, the club saved £3 million, roughly, just under £3 million. Where the hell are we going to get a decent striker for £3 million quid? Because as we all know, with West Ham, it's 1 in, 1 out. For Snodgrass, we've hardly got it. I'd be very surprised if we get anything more than 4 digits for, quite frankly. I'd be very, very surprised. Kent says, so if Deck and Thomas get injured, who we got apart from Noble? If they injured Snoddy, was playing central, maybe Fornals, don't know if it will work. This is the thing. I was just talking about midfielders, wasn't talking about defensive midfielders, mate. Just purely as the midfield attacking wise. And you're absolutely right. It's why I didn't include Noble in it, because he's been a ghost so far this season. He really has been a ghost so far this season. And I don't know why it's looking so dark. It's crazy. It's like I'm in the Batcave again. But it's not. There's lights all over the bleeding place. Maybe it's the webcam, who knows. But it's looking really dark for some random reason today. Let me just turn it down a little bit, see if that's going to... I've taken the adjustment off, and no... Yeah, that's a bit better, but I don't know. But you see, this is the thing. I was talking to Marshy last night. Well, basically yesterday afternoon. We were talking about it. This isn't good business sense. This really, really isn't good business sense. It is from a financial point of view in terms of getting money off the books, etc., etc. But there's no replacements in line. It was confirmed earlier today that this is doing my head in. Honestly, sorry guys, this is really doing my head in. So that's looking a bit better, but mate, I don't know. Maybe anyway. So, Ousmane Dembele, or Ousmane, or however you pronounce it, Dembele doesn't want to come to West Ham. Fair enough. We should have taken him a few years ago. Really should. We really should have done. And the fact is that, we've got the different things in there to, but we've got no actual signing, and this is what worries me. If you're selling your main striker, your main record-beating, record payout striker, why the bloody hell don't you have a replacement to come in immediately? You should a striker should be passing his medical before a deal is agreed with another team to buy your player. That's the way things should work, and for the majority of other clubs do work, but not West Ham. That's what worries me. Hello mate, Ian Hudson says, great news and bad news. Great that Haller's gone, but sorry to see Snoddy go. He was a grafter. Something Haller wasn't. We were lucky to get £20 million. I'm surprised anybody wanted to buy him. Stuart says, I thought we only owed Frankfurt 12 million. We paid 22 up front and have paid another 10 and a half. Well, but this is the thing, mate. This is this is what I'm saying. This is the fact that the remaining balance is that couple of million is going straight to Frankfurt. So where are we going to get the respective money from? That's the thing. Because it was an article on Claret and Hughes, surprise, saying that we had £22.5 million to pay off, and then and the first instalment of that was going to be in May of this year, which we all know the hoo-ha about it. So it's contradictory reports as always, but that's what I'm saying is the fact that they're going to use this as an excuse not to spend very little, if nothing. Basically, as I say, the money that they've saved on Snodgrass and Haller's wages respectively is basically what they're going to spend, if anything. And this is the problem. You know, taking the debt out of the equation, a couple of £1 million. That's what I'm talking about. A couple of £1 million. Kent, you're absolutely right, mate. We should have 1 or 2 lined up. We should have 3, to be honest with you, because we really should. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about Josh King, right? Of course, you know, loads of people want him, loads of people don't. I'm in the bracket that I'll take him, but he's not a long-term perspective, and I'll tell you why, right? And because again, me and Marshy were talking about this last night. Rittes says, why Snodgrass? Mate, he was leaving in the summer. Wasn't going to get any football. He wasn't going to get any football between now and the end of the season, so it does make sense. Irish Tommy, welcome, mate. I'll be very surprised if Moyes doesn't bring in a striker in. I won't be, to be honest with you. We'll get an attacking midfielder deemed as a striker. That's my gut instinct on it. Kent says, what happened to the summer money we brought in? Exactly. I said it in the summer. Where the hell's all this money coming from? Well, so going to be going, and what happened? What happened? Nothing. That's what happened, mate. But Josh King, 28 years old, so 2 years older than Sebastian Haller. He's right-footed. Again, we always seem to be linked with right-footed players. He plays as a second striker, stroke number 10. Not the striker we need, not the player, in fact, that we need to replace our main striker. I've said this many times. We need to replace a striker with a striker. Second striker isn't a striker. Attacking midfielder isn't a striker. Yes, he plays in the centre forward position, but it's a secondary notion. It's not his natural position. His natural position, like Ben Rama, like Fornells, like Lanzini, is number 10. But this is the problem. You know, Gio's of the same opinion. He did when him and Gonzo were talking about it last night. I think it was last night or Wednesday, one of the two. He's an average player. He's very good, but he's an average, very good player, or very good average player, whichever which way you want to look at it. You know, he's been blasted by other people in the media who've got nothing to do with West Ham whatsoever in terms of being a replacement for Haller, because he's not a striker. Kent says, I'd take King, not a glamorous signing, but will fit into Moyes' system, can run and is strong. Yes, he is, but he's an attacking midfielder. That's the point. He's an attacking midfielder. He's not a striker. We should, it'll come in for an undisclosed fee, which means whatever money we give, we got from West Brom, if the deal goes through, then fine. Then the money we'll get from Snoddy will go to Bournemouth if the deal goes through, and obviously I'll keep you guys updated as quickly as I can for that. But at the same time, I'm happy for someone like Josh King to come in, and I've said it before, and I've literally said it a few minutes ago. I'm happy to him to come in as the short term, be turned into a proper attacking centre forward, like he did with Moyes did with an Arnautovic. But at the same time, we need to go out and get at least 2 or 3 strikers in the summer. At least 2. I've said it right from the start of the season. We needed 2 strikers. That was even with Haller in the side. So without Haller in the side now and no reported target, an actual confirmation target, not just, look, there's been player scale. We've got no replacements coming in. We need at least 3 in the summer, at least. But we never will. That's the problem. Chad says, I've got a feeling that we get another championship player to be up front. Nothing wrong with that in any shape or form, Chad. There's a lot of very good talent in the championship. They just need to be put in the right position. Ken, I know, but he's not a striker. How many times do I have to say it? Look on Transfer Market. Look at his information. He's a second striker. He can play as a centre forward, and he's got some very, very good stats for that, mate. But he's not a striker. We need an out and out striker. I'm not saying a big glory signing that glamour signing that you mentioned a few minutes ago, mate. It's literally we need a striker. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Irish Tommy says replace Haller with Odibeku. If you've seen him play, Tommy, fine. And as we talked about on Wednesday night, I'll be happy to see what he can do on Monday night for the FA Cup. Very, very happy with that. But this is the thing, right? As I say, going on from what Kent says, right? In the 1920 season, aka last season for Bournemouth, he had 6 appearances and 28 appearances, 6 goals and 4 assists, and they still got relegated. That's how bad their defence was. In the Championship, he's played 8 games so far, no goals or assists. I haven't seen any. I can't see unless anybody watches the Championship, because I don't. I've said that many times. I can only go on the information that's available. He's not had any injury since he won the league with Man United back in the 2010-2011 season. That was 10 years ago. And that's one of the things I'm loving the fact is we're getting in a player that has no injury record. You know, we did that with Souček. You know, Souček had no injury record whatsoever. Played, was it 3 games? Played 3 games and had a leg tear. It's the way that West Ham goes. But you know, it's just that this is my worry, is the fact that I'm not saying, as I say, I keep saying, and I will say it until people listen to me, I'm not a critic of Josh King in any shape or form. I said I would take him in as an interim for Moyes to turn him into a striker, but he's not a natural striker, and he's not the centre forward striker we need in the long term. He's not. It will have 2, maybe 3 years of him max if he comes in. That's not a long-term plan. It's a short-term plan to the end of the season, maybe to the end of the other. Right? It just that's half the problem. But I will say again, this is more than worrying, because we have no replacements lined up before we sold him. That's the big issue here. We can be linked with all the players in the world until we actually see somebody holding up the shirt. I'm very worried. Granted, we've got 3 weeks and 2 days until the end of the transfer window, if I remember correctly. I think it is still closing on the last day of January. But again, Kent, correct me if I'm wrong here, mate, on that. But you know, so we've got plenty of time to bring in. The problem is we've got football in 3 days' time. We need a striker in 3 days' time. It's not going to happen. So yes, bring in how do you pronounce his first? I can never remember how you pronounce his first name. Mipo Obideku, or Ojibeku, or however you pronounce it. Bring him in, see what he's got. I genuinely think the Burnley game's going to be a stumbling block for us now. I really think that's going to be the end of our good run of form. I really, really do. Unless we bring in a player within enough time to start to play for the Burnley game, I think we're back to normal. Unfortunately, we're back to normal now. We really are. Stuart says, how can we sell a project to the young and upcoming strikers from Europe that we have been linked with when our training ground looks like a 1990s secondary school? Stuart, you're right to a degree. That, you know, the photos are taken out of context a little bit, but at the same point, yes, it's pathetic. You know, Moyes, we talked about this on Wednesday, mate. You know, Moyes came into the press room the other day, last week, and said how poor, or was the week before, excuse me, just saying how piss poor everything is, the training grounds, the recruitment, the whole lot. So yeah, but this is the thing. We've got to, you guys have got to remember now that this January transfer window is going to be the hardest transfer window that any Premier League or any other team in the football leagues and outside the football leagues have seen, because we're not in the EU anymore. Therefore, it has to go down to them coming on a work permit and meeting the required points for them to come in for the work permit from Europe. Teams, players that are already foreign that are playing within the UK, that's a bit more of a difficult rule. Really, really is. Now, a lot of players that we will be linked to in Europe, as Stuart is talking about, is fine. I haven't got a problem with that. I haven't got a problem with that whatsoever. It's just the fact that it's not going to January and the summer transfer window and everything after that is going to be difficult for clubs to identify players. Moby, good afternoon, mate. Hope you're all right. Lee, I've just approved your comment, mate, because you're going on a bit of a rant, but you won't be able to see it on the screen, so I'll just read it out here now. Allaire knew he was going months ago. Is this why he didn't celebrate, put the effort in? Lee is fuming just because bad management from GSB get them out. Well, Lee, to be honest with you, mate, it happens all the time. Many and it's a very, very good point at the same stage, mate. Absolutely, very, very good point. It's that it may be the reason for that. It may be the reason for we will never know. But he's been like that all season. Not just and to a lesser extent towards the end of last season as well. So yes, okay, he knew months ago. He knew that the deal would come in for the loan in the summer transfer window, but it didn't. It wasn't a good enough deal before the window shut. Let's not forget, guys, that was only 3 months ago. So when he says months ago, he's meaning that. He's literally meaning that. It was only a few months ago that when the window closes. When the window closed for the summer transfer window. Where are we? Chad said Cartwright said he was to get Troy Deeney or Jordan Ayew. Deeney I would take. I know a lot of people hate him, and I hate when he plays against us, but I would love him at the same point up front. He's a very, very, he's the kind of bully we need up front. Just isn't as much of a twat as Arnautovic isn't, but it's difficult to call on that one. Maybe says we be best going for younger players. Yep, and they have to be in the championship, because if we go for younger players abroad, point systems, it's not going to happen. Kent says, I watch the championship a lot. Josh King is probably the best championship player we can get for the money we have. There's Armstrong, Tony, and a few others in the championship, but I would more likely be more than budget. Yeah, agreed, Matt. That's what I'm saying. It's just the only two things that hint that he's coming in. Josh King is coming in is the fact that he's on the cheap, and he's coming towards the end of his career as an attacking midfielder. That's it. Andy, very, very late lunch, mate. Hope you're all right. Stuart Russell, hello, mate. If Adeku scores versus Stockport, GSB will pocket 20 million. They can't. It's illegal. I know what you mean, though. Maybe I'm keeping well. I'm reading everything. Lee says, use our own prospects instead of loaning or selling. We do not have faith in the young talent anymore. Mind you, didn't Moyes play Wayne Rooney on his debut when he was 18-ish? Yep, he did. But this is the thing, mate. It's all well and good players setting it alight in the under-21s and the under-23s and all that sort of stuff. But that's the equivalent of playing League 2, maybe the hinted at League 3 style teams, mate, and this is half the problem. It's a big stand up, call up. Some players can do it. Defoe was able to do it, no problem. Who else? And more recently, I'm not sure Kent will give off a load of examples now, but more recently, obviously Declan Rice, and Johnson as well, for that matter. Just players that want to do it, but it'd be nice. But the thing is if the under 21s aren't talented enough to come in running with literally running with it once they're thrown it into it all, bam, then good. But it's just very difficultly. It really is difficult. Maybe says the lack of news is welcoming. To be honest, yeah, it is, but it's worrying at the same point. It's a catch-22. It really is a catch-22 that we don't know what's going on, and we're worried because we don't know what's going on. I know ignorance is bliss and all that sort of stuff, but at the same point, no, not for me in West Ham, unfortunately. Uh, Tommy says, Allaire signed for Ajax today and fans already freaking out that we haven't replaced him. Calm down and let's see what happens the next week. Well, as I said, we've got 3 weeks. This is not me panicking, Tommy, in any shape or form. It's me worrying that we haven't done a like-for-like business model once again. That's what I'm worried about. It's the way that the club is run. That's what we're all worried about. Ken says, if young players are good enough, Moyes will play them. You just have to be outstanding. Yeah, you're great. Absolutely right, mate. But again, you can be outstanding but not be good enough to play in the Premier League. That's half the problem. I'm agreeing with you. It's just the reality of it is the fact that because the nature of football's changed since you and I were kids, mate, things have changed so far. Things have changed so quickly. Things have changed in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and we're struggling to catch up. This and I'm saying it in terms of a business mind, not the day-to-day football games. But I mean, even then we've been struggling over the last couple of seasons. You know, this season seems to be the anti West Ham season. It really does. But at the same point, when you've got to, if you sell, you've got to buy. It's stock commodities. It's literally that. You've got to sell before you buy. Or sorry, buy before you sell, I should say. You have to. You have to when it comes to football. It's a real shame that we can see that. We can all see that. But nobody within the board has got that business mind. It's unreal. Moby says, who are we going to get then? Absolutely no bloody idea, because as I said earlier, mate, we have no replacements lined up. We're targeting 20 odd players. We're monitoring 20 odd players, but none of them have been put in as replacements. Yes, all right, we've got the rumors about Josh King since the summer, but we'll have to wait and see. Moby says, made up that Allaire went, worst striker we had in ages, made Cleary and Zaza look top notch. I wouldn't go that far, mate. Come on. Andy Moyes, as Miles says, the board need to realise a few mistakes have been made and need to hold their hands up and go and get players from the Championship that will be hungry to play. Bowen, Antonio Creswell. Exactly, mate. Yeah. Kent, yep. Collinson and Tompkins before that, yep. I genuinely think that Jack Collinson would still be playing with us if he didn't pick up that injury. I really think he would have done. It's a real shame. Junior Stanislas, he's a good player now. He wasn't with us at the time. It was brilliant when he broke through in that season when we got relegated, but he struggled for a long time after that. But this is what I'm talking about, mate. It's just they had to sell players to bring in the highest paid squad in the Championship when we were down there. This is the thing. Throwing money at the problem. And I've said many, many times, this is a problem when you have a capitalist-run football club. Throw money at the problem. No, you don't. You do your homework. You do your research. Kent, mate, send an email to the club. Phone them up. Offer your services to be the scout. Because I guarantee we would get a lot better players with you in charge, mate. I guarantee that now. I'm putting it on record. I'm genuinely putting that on record. And I know Baz would agree with me. I know Nicky would agree with me. Because you've got the chops, mate. You've got the chops. Where are we? So once every 3-ish now, roughly. First team now. I think what you mean by that for first team now, once every 3-ish now. I mean, do you mean every 3 years or one in 3 players? And if it's 1 in 3 players, it just shows the level of. But even I know Tim from American Hammers loves Tompkins. I love Tompkins as well, but you can understand the reason why he was sold. It's all about, that's what I'm saying about the way that the game changes. You've got to adapt, and we're not adapting quick enough. That's half the problem. Chad says, I think Sam Allardyce will target more West Ham players because he quite knows them when he knows them quite well. I think he was referring to when he managed them. Yep. Yeah, Snodgrass is an Allardyce player. In actual fact, I think he was being looked at by Allardyce before Bilic actually signed him. Robert Singleton says we will get Freddie Sears back. Kent says, I think LA was a good player, just didn't fit the system. Yeah, we talked about that on Wednesday night, mate. Yeah, and we've talked about that many times. I've said it many times. He has not been played correctly for 18 months. It's no disrespect to Allaire in any shape or form. It's just he's not been using the right system. He's not had the right support. We've said it many times. Front three, not being isolated on his own. It's as simple as that. And even when we have players, when he's got players around him in the front three, the two other side back into midfield and isolate him again. It's the tactics. So I feel sorry for Haller. I genuinely do. I've tried to defend him for many years. Well, sorry, many games, I should say, with the exception of Brighton at home, if I remember correctly, where I absolutely lost it. He pissed me off left, right, and centre in that game. He really did. Other than that, I've been defending him because he's not being used right, and it's a real shame. And he says, like he said on the tweets, which one, mate? You did about 28 this morning. I can't believe the amount of tweets you did. It was unreal. Talking about a man on his soapbox, it was his Twitter box. But it was brilliant, though. I didn't disagree with any single one of them. So like I said in my tweets, League One clubs have a number of scouts, and all we have is the dwarf and his mates like he's playing Football Manager. Yeah, I think as you said, it's like an 8-year-old playing Football Manager. Maybe says, hopefully Moyes has targets and Sullivan will back him for a freaking change. And we'll believe that when you say it. Hello, Paul. Hello, mate. Hope you're all right. Against it, yeah. That's where I thought you were going there. Roughly once every 3 years, if the math is right. It's a little bit longer than that, but you're not that far off, son. You're not that far off. It's been once in 3 years over the last few years, because we had Rice break through, and then just after that we had Johnson, and then we just before him we had the kid who went to play for Watford. But between when Collinson and Tompkins, it's quite a few years before them as well, even then before that, unfortunately. But you're absolutely right, fella. We got youth come through, unlike the golden generation, but that was exceptional crop of players. Yeah, and that's half the problem, because again, as football supporters, not just for West Ham but in England, Ngaki, thank you, Kent. It was that was the thing, is the fact that we had we just look to the past too much, and we don't look to the future enough. We really don't look to the future enough, and we really should. And I'm just saying that as a collective along the whole. We always look back at the glory days rather than trying to concentrate on the current or the future. And that includes the ownerships of all football clubs as well. They're more than worried about trying to get the money in towards the end of the season, rather than looking with it, especially with our owners, 5-6 years down the line. Wolves are doing it, Chelsea are doing it, Liverpool are doing it, Man City are doing it. We're not. We're looking at 5 or 6 weeks, or 5 or 6 months. That's it. Chad says, I was surprised that Haller was gone, but he got injured quite a lot for us. He hardly did, mate. He didn't. He was completely fine all of last season, bar a cold, and this season he's been all right. Apart from, I think, he had a strain. That was it. He's for centre forward. He had a very good injury record. Very good record, especially for a West Ham player. Had a very good injury record. So I've got to disagree with you on that one, mate. Moby said, I don't see any left backs being mentioned. Well, we don't need to. We're not talking about left backs, mate. It's about Snodgrass and Laird leaving. They're not left backs. I don't know what's clear. How more clear than we need to talk about it. But it's just but that's the thing. We've got enough cover at left back. We've got Ben Johnson. We've got Ngakia. We've got Masuaku when he comes back from injury record as a left wing back. We've got Anderson potentially coming back as a left wing back. We're all right for defence, but we are all right. Andy says, the one who I would like at West Ham is Tammy if Chelsea go all out in the summer. If Chelsea go all out in the summer, he may want to move to us in the summer. Maybe I'd take him. I love Tammy Abrahams, mate. I think he's a very talented player, and I said it when we played Chelsea. I mean, we shouldn't have conceded 2 goals in 95 seconds, whatever it was. But he's a very talented footballer and would be an absolute gem for us. He genuinely would. Ian says, Haller, he had his problems at standing on his own feet, couldn't pass, tackle or out-jump defenders. One of our worst buys, along with Roberto and Zaza. Yeah, Ian, most of that I agree with. Not all of it, but most of it. He was getting better. His passes were getting better, ironically, because he over the last few weeks. but his tackles were terrible, and yes, he would never jump, never out jump a defender. And you go back and watch my watch-alongs, mate. Peach, I really wish you'd just type normally because your messages don't go through on otherwise. But welcome, mate. Kent says we need Ethos. The Ajax one is fantastic. The Brentford one is good also. That's what I'm saying. Plan for the future and do exactly what Moy said when he came in. Was it just over 13 months ago? Invest with the kids. Invest for the future. Copy the Red Bull model. Play young players. Develop them. Bring them through. That's what the ethos should be. Peach says he'd take Costa for 6 months all day long. Well, you're the only one, mate. You're the only one. Paul says shocked at Haller, but Moyes has earned the chance to get rid of players he doesn't like and bring in his own. He's done well so far in the transfer market. Yeah, he's done very well, mate. Very well. Moby says get rid of Anderson next. That's probably what the plan's going to be. If not in the next 2 to 3 weeks, mate, then certainly in the summer. Again, another very talented player that just wasn't able to cut it. You know, I think his ego has got the best of him at Porto by the sounds of things. Robert said, would you take Damari Gray? Yep. I've been saying it ever since Leicester won the league. I've been saying it. He's a fantastic player. Absolutely fantastic player. I would definitely would take him, mate, completely. Out of contract in the summer at Leicester and not playing much. Yeah, he's a brilliant player. I really like him. Andy Miles says, for me, Adam Armstrong is the one to get in form. Pacey, good finisher, and could work the system like we have when Antonio plays. Yeah, but I don't think we can afford him, mate. Again, we talked about on it's there's money there. It's just how it's being invested. We're skint. We're skint. They wouldn't be borrowing on next season's ticket sales if we were in a decent position. We never will be under these owners. It's a real shame. Kent says the same thing I was saying. Sol Costa, no way. That West Ham is no more. Agreed. Oh, well, I hope. Paul says he played in the front two before and went West Ham and was up front alone. Didn't play to his strengths. Yeah, I totally agree, Paul. In regards to Haller, Ben Davis, hello, mate. Afternoon, John and everybody. I'll be honest, I'm not that bothered. Haller has left. He wasn't working out. We need 2 strikers now. Yep, I said 2 or 3 early in the string. Chad says I'd take Cantwell from Norwich to replace Snodgrass's place. Can't see it, me old mate. I can't see it. I know why, but money wise, I really can't see it. So we're kind of getting off a bit of a tangent in certain things, but we're still keeping it relevant, which is very good at the same time. And 29 people currently watching this. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciated. So high numbers indeed for a while, and obviously one of the reasons for that is because we're streaming right at the time when it was relevant. I mean, the Snodgrass thing was announced about an hour or so before we went live. So but yeah, it is. It's but guys, we'll go live for a couple more minutes. For anyone else, we are literally 4 subscribers away from going back to 1740. So if you are enjoying this channel and you want to see more, because there's more content going to be coming up, please do hit the subscribe button, guys. Really, please do hit the subscribe button. It'd be nice to try and get to that figure again. We really would be nice to get to that figure. Kent agreed. That's why I'm saying, mate, we can't see us being able to afford Cantwell. And he says, for me, I would maybe target English players who are in and out of the squad, because if the Euro goes ahead, maybe teams would let them go out on loan, which is up the owner's street. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, mate. We would, as I said at the start of it, before you plugged in, that we should be going for teams in the Championship. Or bringing our own players through. Robert Singleton asks, do we use the LA money to pay up Benrahma and get another loaner in? That's a good shout. I would personally. It's a great shout. I don't think we will. I really genuinely don't think we will. It's a real shame, because I don't think the club is that shrewd enough to do the business, because again the money's been spread over to pay for other things. But that's half the problem. That's half the problem with the debt, as we talked about a few minutes ago. we're so skint that this is going on. This is going to pay other places. So it's like having a 20. It's like having a 20 quid overdraft that you're in, and you get paid 30 quid. But you go out and buy a pizza, and pay once the overdraft's paid off. That's the way West Ham works. Really way that West Ham works. Spurs Ethan, hello mate, good to see you. Good, hope you're all right. Craig, welcome. Honest opinion on Snodgrass. Can he keep West Brom up? Is there enough in the legs, West Brom fam? Craig, to be honest with you, mate, no. He's a reserve player. He's a very good player. He's very good at his corners, very good at free kicks, but that's about as much as you get out of him. His legs have gone to a degree, which is one of the reasons why he was going to be out of contract in the summer. But yeah, it'll do you well. I hope he does enough to keep you guys up. West Brom are always a pleasure to watch. Always a pleasure to watch. Peach, mate, seriously, stop the capitals because you get blocked all the time. I can't even understand what you're talking about there, mate. Right, where's it? He plays like Costa plays like an animal on the drums. In the Muppets, he puts himself about and knows where the goal is. Trust me, he is what we need now. Real talk. No, he's not what we need now. He's a bad apple. I need you to listen to this, Peach. He's a bad apple. Yes, he knows where he can score, but he's worse than bringing an Arnautovic back. We need squad players. Not individuals. We need team players in the squad, I should say, not individuals. He's not that sort of player. He really isn't that sort of player. Chad says, hopefully now Ben Rama will play more for us. Agreed. Paul John says, a little bit off the topic. Arsenal got £120 million of loan off the government. Yep, same as Spurs. You are now Spurs. Moby Dick says, I trust Moyes and the backroom staff to know what they require. They know what they require. It's getting the money to do it. That's the problem. Rob's Projector Wall. Hello, mate. Oi, great to catch you live for the first time this year. It's only been 8 days, son. What about Ethan saying, where do you think West Ham will finish? I still think top 10. Maybe 11th. Andy says, I just hope the squad is getting smaller will help the under-23s get in and around the squad, not 2 goalkeepers on the bench. Yeah, apparently this Obideku, or Obiduku, however you pronounce it, has been training with the first team's squad this last week or so you never know. Kent says to the Brummie, if Sam is focusing on set play, Snoddy will help you. His delivery is fantastic. We'll give 100%. Yeah, he will do. But all he's good is set plays. And that's half the problem, or set pieces, I should say. Eden says something very, very unrealistic, but would like Che Adams. I would like Che Adams as well, mate. But again, it's just never going to happen. Absolutely ripping it up for Southampton. Very, very good. I think it's Southampton. Very good player. One that I really, really do like. Really, really do like. But at the same time, guys, it's Moby, I'm being as positive as I possibly can. Yeah? I don't know how long, if at all, you've been supporting West Ham for, if at all. But this is classic West Ham. This is classic West Ham. There's a difference between negative, positive, and being realistic. That's the thing. Yeah, if your comments seem to more about trying to goad me into an argument rather than anything else. Yeah. Kent says, Andy's back to work, mate. All right, fair enough. Kent says we was linked with Shay before he signed for the Saints, if memory serves. Yes, I think we were. Kent, we are linked to everybody. Ethan, will you stop trying to do shout outs for your channel, mate? I'm not approving them because I don't know what your channel is, so I can't do that. And it's not very polite to go on other people's channels and ask for people to subscribe. Yeah, people will find you. But yeah, Ken, as I say, we link with everybody, and I get bored of who we get linked to because it's the same names all the time. We've been linked to Josh King for 2 transfer windows now. We've been linked to Dembele for 2 or 3 transfer windows now. Much less 4 or 5 years ago, we were linked with him as well when he was up in Scotland. It just bores me. It really bores me. Really bores me. Go. Right, Moby, you are suspended for that. I'm not showing that message up, but you're being suspended for that. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch. Simple as that. Simple as that. But yeah, no, as I say, I mean, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, guys, this is typical West Ham, that we get rid of our best, or at least our most expensive player, and we don't bring anybody in. What's positive to be about that? Tell me where the positivity is, guys. Seriously. Chad says, should we try and buy Joel Linton from Newcastle or Origi from Liverpool? On what way, mate? On what bankroll? We are skint. I don't know how many more times I have to say it. We are skint as a club. Because they are paying, the money's coming in and they're trying to pay off other stuff. And this is the thing. But the money's available when they find it. It's like the government. Yeah? The way that the government runs the Bank of England is the same way that West Ham runs the bank, their bank. We're trying to pay off places here and there. But bam, straight in. But there's money, but there is money available. There's money available when it suits them. And this is half the problem. But we're not going to be able to afford Joe Linton, and we're not going to be able to afford Origi. I'll be very surprised if we spend anything more than 8. Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 digits. No, I'm worried. That's 8 digits. I'll be very surprised if anything in the next 12 months is costs more than 10, 11 million pounds. I'll be very surprised. Very surprised. Hello, Rick. Hope you're all right, mate. Paul, we mentioned it earlier. Anderson's looks like his loan's going to be recalled because he's not getting the game time over at Lyon. Looks like as I said earlier, just as around about the time you were coming in, it looks like his ego's getting to him. He's a Premier League player. Why shouldn't I be? Why am I on the bench all the time? Blah 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 blah. That sort of thing. That's certainly what it looks like. Where else are we? So Ben says there's weeks left in the transfer window. I'm sure Moyes has some targets lined up to replace Alep. He's got targets, but none of them are actually being lined up to be replacements. This is the problem. It will be as my friend Steph was saying. We'll get a loan the day before the end of the January transfer window. That's how it works. That's how West Ham, or it will be very late, like it was with Bowen. This is the thing. You need to be making replacements now. You need to make the replacements now. So, sorry guys, there's a bit of buffering again. But you need to make replacements now. Marcus, welcome. Marcus Lieb says, do you think we will look for players in the Championship, much like Armstrong, who was linked to before? Yes, Marcus. Yep, we did talk about that earlier, mate. But yes, we will look to. I know a lot of Moyes' targets are in the Championship. The majority of them always are. Paul agreed. Alas, it sounds stupid if no one already agreed. Yeah, that's what I've been saying throughout the whole of this bloody broadcast. It's a bad business model. It's all right trying to balance the books, but if you're not gonna buy before you sell, it's not a good thing. It's not a good way of running the football club. It really isn't a good way to run the football club, and it's a real shame. So we seem to be stuck in the same sort of time warp for questions here, guys, and people's comments on it. So I think we'll wrap it up there. But thank you for watching this 50-minute broadcast. It's a lot longer than I was originally expecting it to be. But that's the thing. We keep going around in circles. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for your time. As I said, if you're enjoying this, if you're enjoying the content, then by all means, please do subscribe. Hit the like button, because we've got 8 likes. It'd be nice to get a few more to get the algorithm. That's why more people are coming in, because the more likes a live broadcast gets, the more people will watch it. And but yeah, as I say, Monday night we will have the Patreon only commentary for the FA Cup game. So we'll have that. So if you want to become a patron, by all means, please do check out the tiers in the description below. To hear my pure, it's not gonna be a watch along. It's not doing watch alongs. It's purely gonna be just a commentary. So I'm gonna try and do some practice of that over the weekend. Cheers, Kent. All the best, mate, to you as well. Robs, hope you're wrong about the dosh, but I agree. Yeah, well, the accounts will be coming out very soon, so keep an eye out for that, because I'll be doing my review video on that, and I guarantee you I'll be saying exactly the same thing. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you very soon.